Pop, pop.
Bears. Beats. Battlestar
Galactica. Stay on target.
You can't handle the truth.
Stay on target.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
With great power comes great responsibility.
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Maybe eventually.
Hello, everyone! Yeah! Welcome to Pop Culture Redemption. My name's Connor.
I'm Kim. My name's Priscilla.
And I'm Jake.
And we have a live studio audience. Woo! Yes, we are excited to be here. We are Pop Culture Redemption. We're here to help you have a better vision of God at work in popular culture. Well, tonight we're just diving right in. We're going normal Rejoice, Reject, Redeem format as we go through. And actually, we're going to have some really cool opportunities for people to share some of their own Rejoice, Rejects, and Redeems. I've already stopped looking at my notes, so I'm already in trouble. Oh, we were going to start with that, the random draws. Can we do that? Can somebody pass that popcorn bucket up here?
There's a popcorn, yeah.
I already forgot to grab something.
Man, we're starting off really, really well.
It's all good. So, right off the bat, we're going to do a quick lightning round. Now, our wonderful audience here has written down some characters. The whole prompt of tonight is to talk about heroes and sci-fi. So, hero characters or sci-fi characters that we can look at and we can dive into. We can talk about what's good, what's bad, what's not, where the gospel is at in these characters or in their stories. And so we've asked the audience to write down some ideas for the crew to just start it off and just quickly pull one out of the bucket and then rejoice, reject, or redeem on the spot.
All right.
All right, who wants to go first?
Is that a directive?
That's the prompt.
It's Spider-Man. I'm going to crash out.
You're gonna take it.
We got.
Terminator. Wow.
I'm glad you drew that because I haven't seen any of the movies.
What am I supposed to rejoice? He never gave up.
No.
There we go.
Does anybody else have one they want to do on Terminator?
I've never seen the movies, and neither has Priscilla because we're uncultured.
That's great. Wait, you're on a pop culture podcast and you're uncultured?
Look, this was Connor's idea.
I mean, there's something to be said about like the redemption story, right? Because in the first, this is gonna. If you know Terminator, you can correct me. But in the first one, he's the bad guy. Yep. But then in the second one, he's the good guy.
There we go.
So there's some redemption in there. Even the bad guy can become the good guy.
Okay.
Right?
I like it.
Come on. All right, somebody else go.
Right.
Good luck, Priscilla. We're all counting on you.
Hope it's not Spider-Man's problems.
Ant-Man.
Even when you're really small, you can make a difference.
There we go.
That's what I got.
Oh, it's great.
Also a thief/criminal turned good guy.
Yeah.
In the system?
In the system?
And isn't he like a bad dad, and then he turned into a good dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we
Yeah,
go.
because I think he was in prison.
Yeah.
Well, it was his love for family that called him into better.
There you
Which
go.
was good.
This guy.
Which was good.
We rejoice that is good.
Paul Rudd's from Lenexa.
Hey,
Oh.
I rejoice
We're
that.
rejoicing in that.
KC person.
All right, what we got? Luke Skywalker.
Ooh, you got this.
Who would have thought that I would have drawn Star Wars? Where do I even start? What? I mean, there's the prophecy of him being the chosen one, which we all know what that's supposed to be. That's not Luke, that's Jesus.
Anakin?
That's Anakin.
That's Anakin.
No.
Why you be panicking?
Jesus has got a planikin. So I'm going to nerd out here for a minute.
There you go.
In Return of the Jedi, I just needed my brain to keep doing it in the background. So in Return of the Jedi, so Luke Skywalker wears the black robes, right? And George Lucas did this on purpose. He was basically just the epitome of what every English teacher says is symbolism in a book. Like, oh, the author did that on purpose. Like Lucas actually did. So he wore black for the entirety of the movie until... what was the part? It was whenever he was in the Death Star, and I think that he and Vader were done fighting. He was being shocked or something like that. Like in that scene, part of his robe comes undone to reveal some white. And the white is the black is symbolizing that throughout the movie he was struggling with the temptation to the dark side. But the white being revealed is that he made his decision and turned to the light.
Okay, nice.
Oh, dang. Yeah, some
There you
snaps
go.
for real.
There you go.
There's my nerd out moment.
Okay. Oh, I got Darth Vader. I mean, we could talk about the love of a father.
Ooh.
Right? Episode 6, what redeems Darth Vader? It's the belief that his son says that there's still good in him, to the point where his son, Luke, decides not to fight him, to not turn to the dark side. And it's that belief in his cry for help and his sorrow that the love of the father, Darth Vader, comes out and it redeems him. Like, that's what ends up fulfilling he becomes the chosen one, because he chooses to love his son, to save his son, and to defeat the evil Emperor Palpatine. At least until episode 8 or 9. Palpatine
It's fine.
comes back.
Somehow he returned.
Jake and I have not argued about this week at all. We have.
Oh, we
There we
still
go.
have
Maybe-
quite a few in here. Are we going to do them all?
Let's just maybe do 2 more.
Okay.
2 more.
Well, let's finish another round around the table.
Okay,
We'll do
never mind. We'll do
okay,
4
okay,
more.
okay. All right.
What?
Oh, wait, I got that
just-
actually.
Oh, because
I
Kim
almost thought I
started
did.
it. Yep. Okay, I'm
Jesse
tracking.
Pinkman, which is so funny.
Wait,
Who
who?
was Jesse
From
Pinkman?
Breaking Bad,
There you
correct? Okay, good. I was
Oh.
like, shoot, you made me nervous now.
I got nothing. I've never
I
seen
have
it.
so many thoughts, and I'm having a hard time, like...
I know somebody in the audience that could do it.
So, right. So, I had a hard time watching Breaking Bad with my profession, because I could see a lot of like the people I work with in these people, and I felt like I'm gonna reject. It's my first time. I'm gonna reject. Not really Jesse, but more like Walter's. He put himself as a father-type figure to lead Jesse astray instead of in the proper position. And he even was a teacher, so you would think he would know better, but he didn't. He was like the character that you learn to hate throughout the show, and you just start hating him at the end. But for Jesse, I don't think I ever hated him. I just felt bad for him the entire time. So I'm going to reject really what happened to him and not really his character. Just like he wasn't really given the tools to be successful. And even when I am going to reject that when he went to Narcotics Anonymous, he started selling narcotics to everybody. And I'm going to reject that as well.
That's probably not good.
But yeah, so I feel really bad for this character. Even through the end, I still feel bad for him. But I didn't watch the spinoff with him, so yeah.
That was great.
Cool.
Good job.
Thanks.
Awesome.
That was
a good point.
You did way
spitballed.
better than I would have done.
All right.
Guys,
You got a blank one?
no.
Oh.
I got the wasp.
Ant-Man
That's
and
not helpful. Like, you got y'all. Y'all got something. I don't got.
the like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, I know, but I don't got nothing. Or I don't got anything.
Any of you guys have anything?
Rejoice, Projector,
That's a
Redeem
great
the
one.
Wasp.
It's done this.
Babe.
What?
We can get a new one. There we go.
Sorry
you
to
stumped
whoever.
us.
That never
Stumped us.
happened.
You've
I'm
stumped us.
sorry. Didn't we confess at the beginning?
Oh, yes.
You want that one.
No, I think Connor wants this one. Miles Morales.
Oh, I want that one.
You can have that one.
Spider-Man from Spider-Verse. Take it away.
Do you want?
Go.
Oh, okay.
Go.
Take it away.
So we've already done this episode, and I do this for every Spider-Man
I
episode
know
that we
exactly
do. You
where
know where
he's
I'm going. I reject Spider-Man's belief that he has to isolate himself or herself to protect those that they love. I think that's a bunch of hooey. I mean, I understand that the intention of that is good, but I think the actually lived out practice of that is false. It's not good. It's a false belief that that you're in control at all, to like have that kind of control and exert that kind of control in your life or especially in somebody else's life. But mostly it's the lack of fruit of that. Like the isolation leads to a lot of negative fruit. Like it leads to loneliness and even in the Spider-Man No Way Home, like when all the Spider people are together and they're all in the same universe, you see one Spider-Man who talks about how the isolation like led him to being what's the word he used, like full of rage. What was it?
Come on.
Come on. Yeah.
There you go. Like it just it led to bad things, and we know that in our own lives when we isolate, when we withdraw, that's a negative response to trauma, but it doesn't actually lead to our healing. It just leads to our further being stuck whenever we're doing. So we need each other. We need one another. We need fellowship and community. We can't just walk life, even as Christians, with just God and just Jesus, and just say, I'm good. I don't need Christian community or fellowship. We need each other. And I affirm that. And so I reject just the basic premise of all the spider people go through this. I'm going to isolate so I can protect those that I love. Come on. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate that.
All right, last one. No pressure.
No pressure.
Oh, wait, no. Second, because you...
That was
Okay,
it.
okay.
That was it.
I'm going to pick another one because it's the same thing. It's Gwen Stacy. Spider-Verse Gwen Stacy. It's this, which actually... You got something?
I mean, just the moment. The moment in that second Andrew Garfield film when Gwen Stacy dies is...
Okay, specifically
Just
Spider-Verse
gets me.
Gwen Stacy, or are we talking about Spider-Woman?
It says
This is Spider-Man, Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Oh, you're not talking about...
No, we're talking about Spider-Verse
Okay.
Gwen Stacy. I really enjoyed the scene in... Is it Into or Across the... It's Across the Spider-Verse. When she's in her apartment with her dad. And there's that scene where she reveals... No, because he already knew that she was Spider-Woman before she did her whole multiverse thing, or something like that. But there was the part where she looked at him and said, "I wear my mask the same reason you wear your badge." I think we need to I think as I think as a Christian, as a man who's trying to follow Jesus, I find that convicting because of the amount of times I don't do that. I mean, just the top of my head, the scripture, if anyone wants to follow me, to pick up your cross daily and deny yourself and follow me. For whoever wants to save their lives will lose it. For whoever wants to lose their lives will save it for my sake. We need to pick up our cross the same reason she picks up her mask, or the cop picks up his badge.
Yes.
Oh man, that was a good one to end on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for all the things in the bucket.
All right. So we're gonna go into Rejoice now. So this is we got different characters again. There's gonna be an opportunity for y'all to share. We do have opportunity. We had our 12 Days of Christmas thing. When did that
Social
end?
media campaign.
Last week.
Yeah.
On the 12th day of Christmas.
I know, but I don't know what day
It's
that
12th
is.
day after Christmas. It's 12th day
I
after.
gotta add, and then there's 30. Is there 30 or 31
it
days
was
in December? I don't remember. 31, and then see, it just doesn't work for me.
I
But
think it was
we could go. But we had a social media blitz to do that, and both Ryan Mackey and Erica Seltzer were the most engaged fans on that, and so we have guaranteed them time to share what their Rejoice, Reject, and Redeem is. So they'll kind of help start us off. So when we have the audience, when we ask you to come forward or to share your thing, you can either share it from where you're at, or we would really prefer it so that you can be on a camera. If you come up and talk into that little blue microphone, well, it's not blue, it's black, but it has the blue ring on it. It's on, it's ready to go. And you can even sit in the
director's chair.
In the director's chair, you can. You don't have to. You can just stand if you want. That's totally fine. So, Rejoice. We're going to name what is good. This is based on that Philippians 4:8, right? Whatever is true, noble, right, pure, excellent, praiseworthy. If anything is...
Excellent.
Wait, no, I got it. Some of those. That's what it says. So that's what we're naming, right? We want to rejoice what's good about these characters or about their story. So whether it's a superhero or a sci-fi character, or if you just want to use your own character, we're not going to stop you. So you could use different character if you want. Who wants to go first? Up here on the
Should we
table.
also
We'll do a few
maybe say who our heroes, what heroes we're doing? Or
across the front here?
Yeah.
Sure. You just going to stare at me now?
Yeah.
I'm doing Iron Man.
I'm doing Wonder Woman.
I'm doing Captain America.
And since everybody else did superheroes, I'm doing the Doctor from Doctor Who. Yeah, that's right. I didn't pick a Star Wars character.
And yet you still got to talk about Luke Skywalker.
I still did.
Who wants to go first? Who wants to rejoice first?
I'll do it.
There you go, Kim.
You're all looking at me. Okay, well, my character is Wonder Woman. She's been my favorite forever, and I did some introspection when I was writing this and realized that I connect with her on the deepest level because she has like a deep sense of morality and justice, and that's like ingrained into me. So I see myself in that. So I'm just going to rejoice that that's a big piece of her character, is just that she wants to do right and she wants to help people do right. She wants people to tell the truth and to do right, and she'll force them to tell the truth. She, especially in the 2017 movie, she's kind of a messiah type character. She's called the God Killer. She's a daughter of Zeus, and she kills Ares, which is kind of like the Lucifer devil type figure in that movie. And so she's seen as like almost the Jesus type character in that movie. And I think it was good to see, sometimes you see Jesus characterized in different ways in different films. And so that was something that I really enjoyed in the 2017 movie with Wonder Woman. So I rejoice in that.
That's good.
Oh. Boom. Oh, thanks.
How about you, Priscilla?
Okay, so Captain America, just because it's Captain America. No, I'm just kidding. So I rejoice his choice of non-bad language, if that makes sense. The fact that he doesn't really go for the curse words, that you can say a lot and not need to include those in your sentences and you still get your point across. And so he uses a lot of like really funny and fun like replacements, like by the stars above, or like for goodness sake. Like he knows how to just do it in a way that, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I can choose those phrases instead. But also then this beautiful moment, if you watch throughout the relationships that get built through up until like Endgame, where Captain America is known for not being someone who uses language, and he's calling other people out when they use language. But there's a point in Endgame where like this is like life or death. This is like the end game. And he throws out some language, and two of the characters come back at him and say, call him out like language, Captain America. And I think that's a really cool and beautiful moment of like what community really is. When they know you super well, they know who you are, who your character is. They're gonna call you out when you do something that's not of you or something that you usually do. So it's just really cool. You can do that, and it's a really beautiful example. And also, it's cool to have the example of community in that sense, where you might get made fun of for doing something a certain way, but when you're known so well, you're also going to get called out on it when you don't do it that way. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice. All right, Ryan or Erica, would you like to share a... Oh, man. Let's get it.
Oh, man.
Come on. Thanks for doing this.
Don't forget your microphone.
Yes.
See if the sound stays on.
It'll work.
Steve from Sunday. So I'm Erica.
Too soon.
So I'm Erica. My character, I'm not a big superhero sci-fi, so I picked the movie that I've seen 1,000 times, and that is Back to the Future.
Yes!
Shout out to Pastor Jeremy. So my rejoice in Doc Brown is he trusts the strange kid from the future and helps him return home.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Up on the
good.
stranger. Good. How about you, Ryan? You want to go?
Yeah. Go get him, Bishop.
So thank you. So I went into Batman, and mine is the incomparable Alfred Thaddeus Crane Pennyworth.
Nice.
Who,
So
when
cool.
I did a little bit of research on Alfred the Butler, if you read his various backstories, so it turns out that he served in the British Special Forces. He was what's known as SAS, which is basically like Green Beret, Commando, that kind of stuff. And he had advanced medical training as well. So in British military, particularly rewind 100 years, there was this role known as the Batman. And it was the person who assisted a commanding officer or something, everything from being a lookout, digging their foxhole when trench warfare was a thing, helping them with their weapons, and also possibly like defending them as they were trying to do something. And so Alfred is the Batman's Batman. And he's very capable in and of his own right. But he, rather than going out there and doing it himself, he like empowers Bruce to go and do that. So, Alfred.
Man, that's good.
That's an angle I had not considered. Thanks, man. Does anybody else want to be brave and come up and talk with the microphone? Do you have a character that you would like to rejoice?
Or if you just want to say it from where you're at.
You can do that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go for it.
You got a teacher voice.
Wonderwoman.
is one of my favorites. And my favorite phrase is she always says, it's not about what you deserve, it's about what you believe. And I had a whole come to Jesus moment with that phrase when that movie came out, I'm not gonna lie. But it's like she's always fighting for the good and the simple. And she would have a simple thing that she wanted, and other people would look at her like, why would you do it that way? It's because she knew her goal, and it's like this childlikeness almost, like she knew what her goal was. And like sometimes the things that God has for us to do are simple, but the world looks at it like it's silly. So Wonder Woman is one of my favorites.
Girl.
That's good. Thanks, Jill.
It's really good.
Oh yeah. Here we go. I am so excited for this.
I wonder why. I brought Wolverine today.
Awesome.
My rejoice is he has a natural defensiveness for children and other mutants in the X Society.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Maybe one more for Joyce. Oh yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, Mabel.
Preach it.
There you go.
So mine is I wanted to do one for Hawkeye because that is one of my favorite shows in Marvel. And I was just gonna do this because he really like cares for like someone else who isn't in his family and is basically like a stranger. And I just think that that's really like great for people to do because, you know, like you don't usually just find a stranger and then like help them for like weeks and weeks and weeks at a time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of like Marvel's best Christmas content.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Do you got one you want to?
I do.
Rejoice.
Yeah, sure. This is half baked, Jake. So apologies.
It's the best. It's the best.
So for those who don't know about the Doctor Who, it's one of the longest running. It is the longest running live action TV show in history. It's about some. I would almost say a godlike figure because he seems to be immortal because they just keep him going and he never really dies. Going around finding a companion to help to go on these amazing journeys, save countless people and civilizations, and stop so many atrocities. And I just want to pay attention to the fact that this is how God works with us. I rejoice being able to see, an immortal, almost Messiah figure, finding the ordinary peoples, bringing out amazing things in them and doing incredible things that they could not do on their own.
Yeah.
I can't snap, so this doesn't work.
It doesn't work. All right, well, I'm rejoicing Iron Man. He's probably my favorite. He might be my favorite character in a movie like recently, or I guess it's a franchise. It's not just one movie, but because I think Iron Man is the embodiment of what happens when your purpose shifts from me-centered living to others-centered living. And it happens like right in the first movie with this experience he has where he gets kidnapped and taken, and then he realizes how his company and his selfish actions are actually impacting the lives of real people in other places. And it kind of awakens the hero within him to respond to that injustice that he has a critical part in. While still narcissistic, egocentric, arrogant, like all out, his central purpose as a character shifted from hedonism to altruism.
Yeah.
Culminating in the sacrifice of himself for the salvation of everyone around him.
Yeah, there we go. Come on.
Rejoice, that's good. I think while taking on Christological themes, that's a big word, Christological themes, being a little bit like Jesus, the character Iron Man inspires us to a similar level of self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
I think that's the power of art and in music and movie and this kind of thing. It truly demonstrates that there's no greater love than this, one who lays down one's life for one's friend. So I rejoice in Iron Man.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. There you go. We can. We're going into reject now.
Yeah, we are.
All right, so now with the reject, right, the whole point of this is to see the things either in the character or in the story that we want to name as false, as not good. Just to help us be aware of those things that maybe culture is presenting as good, that we would say as people of faith, as believers in Christ, we say, actually, that's not good, or that's not completely true, and here's why. So, we're getting into the reject. Name what is bad.
Okay.
Bad. And Kim wants to start us, so of course.
Yeah,
we're
very
gonna let her do
excited.
it.
All right, so I'm rejecting that in the Wonder Woman franchise, not just the last couple movies, but just in general, the Pantheon is like the reason that humans are broken. So like we blame the Pantheon, they blame the lowercase gods and goddesses for the reason that bad stuff happened. For example, in Wonder Woman 2017, Ares is behind the Germans in World War I, not the human condition. And so it's good to remember that we are broken and exist in a broken world, and that means evil does happen. And one thing that I think gets lost in this and what I'm rejecting is that the truth in this is that the devil can tempt you, but he can't force your hand to do something. So I think when we see this, she kills Ares and then suddenly, oh, World War I is over, which that's not how that happened because, we're in reality. But that's not how it is if we just get rid of, there's not someone pulling the strings. It's us. We're the broken ones. And we all make really poor choices, even if they're not on the same level. So Diana seemed to sympathize for the human race and place sole blame on Ares and for the atrocities that the humans committed and blame him entirely for it. But we just know that that's not true, regardless if we're seeing Ares as the devil or not. If we're going to we're going to replace that, it's still not correct because we are the broken ones. So that's what I'm rejecting.
That's good.
We got to recognize the human condition. So, yeah.
I guess I'm next. Yep. Okay, cool. So I really reject the idea, and I really think this is in most heroes in general have this problem at some point. But Captain America has this belief that he's the one who has to fix the problems, and it's in his way. And you see that a lot with his tension with Iron Man. They get into a lot of different fights, and a lot of times the success that happens isn't until those arguments are resolved, or they find the actual problem within their relationships as a team. It's not simply because Captain America is Captain America and he can do anything that he wants. If we think of his story, he really couldn't even get to where he was until he was given this special power. Yeah. And that's really kind of the same. It is the same for us. It's not just us who can just do things because we can. It's because we've been given that authority through Christ. And so I really reject the idea that Captain America thinks he has to be the solution to the problems. And in some of the cases, he thinks he has to do it by himself. Like he's the sole solution, doesn't need any help, doesn't need to do anything else with anyone else. And again, a cool moment is that he won't recognize this until he's fighting his younger self and recognizing that his younger self had a lot of issues that, wait a second, that was me. And in order to be where I am now, I had to get through those things to understand them. Again, same for us. Hindsight is always 20/20. We understand it better when we're in those future moments, not always in those present moments. So I just reject that idea that we unfortunately will believe, just like Captain America, that we have to be the solution to the problem. And in that solution, it's us on our own. And we can't ask for help. We can't do it with somebody else. Essentially, if we're not getting the praise for it, then we've done something wrong. No, that's not how that works.
I just had a thought. It's probably good that we put some distance between you two because we've got Iron Man and Captain America, and we don't need any beef.
You want to go, Jake? We'll do ours, and then we'll
do
the audience.
So to kind of go off of a little bit of what you were talking about, Kim, there's a specific episode that I want to talk about from Doctor Who. It's because I'm going to focus the rest on, again, for those who don't know Doctor Who, the main character of the Doctor keeps changing but not changing because he regenerates into a new person, and so in the beginning it was like every 7 or 8 seasons they would have a new person. Now it's like every 3 seasons. So I want to focus on Peter Capaldi's Doctor Who. So this is the new show, seasons 8 through 10. And there's an episode in season 8 called "Kill the Moon," in which they go to the near future and find out, oh hey, by the way, the moon's an egg and it's about to hatch. And it's sci-fi.
twist.
It's weird. And so the
Plot
choice, so the choice they have to make is: do we let it hatch? Do we let it be born and risk what it might do to planet Earth, or do we kill it to save our skins? And in this moment, the doctor who has his companion, and the companion's a teacher at this time, and even accidentally had one of her students with her, which, Jill, you could probably attest is probably not good practice as a teacher. He just goes, oh, well, you're humanity. I'm not human. This is your problem. Bye. And he gets in his ship and disappears until she makes the decision. He had an idea of what was going on the entire time, but he gave them no information and just bolted. And the way that they portrayed it in this episode showed it off as a bad thing. But I don't think that that's what they were really doing. I think they were trying to relate with how many people feel that way with God, who are put in these tough situations. And maybe they were trying to relate with, well, God has abandoned me. Let me just be clear and remind you in case y'all don't know. We are not on our own. We're not. God does not abandon us when we get into sticky situations. He sits with us in it. If he doesn't save us from the fire, he at least sits with us in it. That's what happens. We will never have to worry about a God who leaves us hanging, who leaves us high and dry, and makes us make our own decisions. We can make decisions with him because he is always with us. And I just reject the story of thinking that an immortal or a messiah or a godlike figure would ever leave us alone.
There you go. Yeah. So I'll reject this part of Iron Man. So there's a lot of different ways I could have gone with this one, but I'm gonna reject the fact that Iron Man was unapologetically prideful. Unapologetically prideful, and throughout the movies, his way is the best way. Like, he knows the best way forward. His plan was the best. That was a lot of his tension with Captain America. Right, was like being so set that his ideas were the best and his were the ones that were going to work out. And if you didn't agree, then we can't agree, we can't get along, we can't have a relationship. When things failed, he was quick to point out, when it was others' fault. And I think specifically I'm going to reject the fact that his ego was celebrated throughout the MCU. Like, it was put on the screen as like comic relief, as humorous, as like even like endearing. Like they kind of set it up that way. And I think as we look at that, like, real pride in the real world is not that funny. Like, it's not funny. When we encounter either our own pride, it isolates us, or when we encounter somebody else as being really prideful and, egomaniac and that kind of stuff, like, we don't really want anything to do with that person if we can help it, because we know they're going to burn us at the first chance that they get, type of deal. So just as a believer and just knowing what's true, we're called to love one another and to care about and to care for each other's interests above our own interests, right? And not to think of ourselves more highly than we ought to. And I just want to reject the fact that Iron Man thought of himself higher than he ought to. So that's what I got.
That's good.
There we
There
go.
it is. Yeah. All right, so now we're turning it over to you all, characters. Let's you want to go first this time, Ryan? Give us something.
So staying with Alfred, it's the idea of age and how sometimes the elders aren't always respected, and especially when you're dealing in a universe full of superheroes who think they can do it on their own.
Right.
That sometimes those with gray hair.
You're not speaking from experience.
No, not at all. That sometimes they get made the butt of jokes, or that their wisdom or strengths or whatever aren't accepted or utilized or harnessed. And what's really been interesting to me is, so I watched Justice League, 2017 Justice League, with one of my absolute all-time favorites, Jeremy Irons. And the fact that it seems like now, after, I don't know how long Batman's been in publication, it's at 80 years or so.
It has been a long time.
It seems like now Alfred's finally like being listened to. Like, it started with Michael Caine's Alfred, but now it seems like finally Jeremy Irons, who's in his 70s, it's like, okay, now Alfred's finally being listened to. And it's like, okay, maybe we're on our way. But mainly the idea of like age, wisdom, being rejected in the universes. So
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
all
good.
Erica?
So back to Doc Brown. I reject that he steals plutonium from the Libyan nationalists
Yeah.
and uses it for personal gain. So, did he prevent a bomb from being made? Absolutely. Did he benefit from that? Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe stealing probably isn't a good thing. Yeah, here we go, Matt. Woo!
I mean, I couldn't just let my children, talk all night. It is can I just take a moment and say it's a joy to be here tonight with you all. You're a real light in the world, and I just want to thank you for all you do at Pop CR.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
So I'm going to go on a deep cut, and it's probably for anybody only over the age of 40, if that's okay. One of my favorite movies as a middle schooler, which will date me, was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Nice.
I've heard of it.
God bless you, Jacob.
I've heard of it.
Go watch it. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a time traveling film. What I want to reject is a premise in the film is that these two high school seniors that procrastinate on their final project until the very last minute. I'm an educator, and I just want to reject that right now. Sure, a magical man from the future shows up with a time-traveling phone booth to pull you out of the depths of failure at the exact right moment, but I want to reject that because that doesn't happen in real life.
Wait, a time-traveling phone booth?
Dude.
Not a police box.
Nope. No, it's a phone booth. Which
wonder where they got that idea from.
They got that idea. What I think about when I think about procrastination is I think about the number of people maybe in my family and in my life that I've met that understand the gospel. They know who Jesus is, but they keep procrastinating. And I think if that's you listening or if that's you engaging with this podcast at any point, the time is now. God is calling you toward the redemption that he died for and rose again for. And I would just, I would reject the idea of procrastination, especially when it comes to something that's so heavy as your life and eternity.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There is I can't coin this, and I don't know who said this because it was on social media, so of course nobody knows where it came from. But somebody defined procrastination as believing you are entitled tomorrow for what God has given you today.
There you go. Do we have one more? One more for reject?
Un más?
One more.
All right, come on, Wyatt.
Okay.
There you go.
Goes with the note cards ready to go.
He came prepared.
So yeah, let's grab these note cards that I made
Absolutely.
in study hall today.
Oh, while you were procrastinating homework?
It was not procrastination. I had already done my homework. Thank you very much.
Good man.
One of my teachers is here. I won't say anything else.
Plead the fifth.
Yes. So I was working, and I chose 3 of them. One of them I can't use anymore because you have already harped on him, Spider-Man.
Oh, sorry about that.
So I have stuck with Wolverine and Batman.
All right.
So for Batman, I reject the violent sense of revenge.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Nailed it.
Just a lot
Yep.
of, just a lot of like that's the premise of the entire character. His parents died and he's killing people.
Say no more, my guy.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
You're good. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So good.
All right, now we're moving on to Redeem. It's the name of the podcast. It's our favorite section.
What was that we said in the car earlier? It's not pop culture resentment.
That's right.
Oh, that's
It's
good.
pop culture redemption.
That's right. Pop culture redemption. So now we're looking at pop culture, and not only are we naming what's good and what's bad, but we're also saying, all right, what's that thing that actually that reminds me, that points me to Jesus. Like that's that's the actual like, ooh, that'll preach. You know what I mean? Like you see it in the movie, you hear it in music, you see it in a TV show, and you're like, oh, takes me right to the gospel, like 100%. So that's the redeem segment. That's what we're trying to do here. So
There we go.
are we going in the same order?
Yeah.
Or are we switching up?
Let's just do it.
Okay, we'll
I
just
don't
do the
know.
same
It's
order.
easier that way.
We already did it twice.
I'm
Let's just round it out.
confused.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to redeem the use of the lowercase gods in Wonder Woman's universe because I already rejected, a little bit of it, but I'm going to redeem the fact that they're in there because sometimes we don't want to engage with popular culture that has lowercase gods. We don't want to engage with the pantheon because it's like we don't believe in that. That's funky. No, demigods, that's weird. I don't want to do that. But what I'm going to say is that if you look at the 2017 film, Ares acts as a Lucifer character and Zeus acts as God, and that's kind of the way they use the pantheon. So it's not really like an accurate depiction of what was actually believed. But it's easy to write off Wonder Woman as a hero that we don't want to engage with because it doesn't align with our beliefs entirely. But seeing her compassion and desire to help broken people should be something that we all want to be a part of. So even if it's not ideally like she believes in God like Captain America does, we still want to engage with her because it's good to see how somebody is so good. She's like a good character in and out. So I'm redeeming that. It's inundated in her entire person, and she's like the daughter of Zeus, so it's going to be throughout the entirety of Wonder Woman. But I just think it's something that we can utilize as a learning point with maybe our friends that don't believe, or even children or whatnot. We can kind of talk about what those characters might actually be in reality, and how we might tie some reality in with that fiction there. So that's my redeem. There we go. I'm reject. Yeah.
One of those rees.
Yeah, one of them. Not again.
All right, so I am going to redeem something that actually I did not like that Captain America is really known for, and he says a lot I could do this all day. That's has a really big statement throughout every single moment that I think he can. Really, it's when these big moments are like, you should totally have given up, and he's like, nah, I could do this all day. I'm literally about to die. I could do this all day. And I think it annoyed me almost at first because it's like, no, you can't. You're literally going to die if you keep doing this. But I redeem the fact that that's kind of the point for us, is that we can't do this all day, but we can do what the Lord gives us strength for. I know Philippians 4:13 can get taken out of context a lot, and I'm not trying to say it's specifically just the physical strength that we have through Christ, but this ability that we want to do what's wrong. We want to do what's right, and we still do what's wrong sometimes. We want to be better, and we still mess up. We want to strive for being holy, and we still fall short of that. We're not ever going to reach perfection. But I do want to be able to stand and say, I can do this all day. I can continue to pursue that. I can continue to do what I don't want to do when I know it's right, and I can continue to do my best to not do what I don't want to do, if that makes sense. I know his intentions weren't necessarily that, so I don't love that. But I think we can use that. We can say, you know what? I can't do this all day. I get really tired of doing some things all day, but I can do what the Lord gives me strength for, and I can continue to lean in on his strength, lean in on his understanding. Because again, it's not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, like all of these aspects of our whole self that he gives us strength for. I could do that all day, and I will do that all day.
That's good. Mm-hmm. This doesn't work because I can't snap. I feel so left out. Thank you.
Okay.
I feel like I'm missing out. What was the order? Did you go first, then me, or?
We could really throw a wrench in this if I go next and then you end this.
Let's throw a wrench in it.
All right, I'm throwing a wrench in it. I'm going to redeem Iron Man. And I kind of already hinted at this in the Rejoice, to take this a step further. Right? Talk about how Iron Man sacrificed himself to save the lives of many. Hebrews, that points me to Jesus because Hebrews 9:28 tells us that Christ was offered once to bear the sins of many. But then more than that, we take this step further, right? And he will come again to save those who are eagerly waiting for him. Iron Man's death brought about life for their universe, their world. like he, when he snapped and set he set things right as far as Thanos was defeated and
You're just rubbing it in my face.
Oh, sorry. And everyone else lived, right? And same thing for Jesus. Like he died so that we might live, and even more so, like we talk about the next, like he was raised to life. So like, Iron Man died and he's still dead. Although they might do the multiverse thing and bring back a different version of Iron Man. Who knows? You never know with the multiverse of chaos. But Jesus, right, died and then was raised to life again, and now we get to hold on to not only the truth that like we have been set free from sin and shame, but that we as well with him we're co-heirs with Christ, and we will be resurrected with him, and we get to live for eternity with him, and he's done all of that. So like Iron Man is like a shadow, right, or just a signpost to Jesus. It's like yes and I just think that's really cool.
That's good.
There you go. All right, Jake.
Solid.
Bring us home, Jake.
Okay.
Bring us home, Jake.
I need to first paint a picture. Like this is gonna be a whole thing. We're gonna have a landing at some point. It's not long enough that we're gonna need in-flight food, but
they got popcorn.
I got a thing. Yeah, there's popcorn in the back. You really get hungry. So I wanted to just describe this specific scene from an episode because this is kind of integral to what I think happens with every single Doctor, no matter who it is. So in season 9, there's an episode called Zygerian Invasion Part 2. So I'm not going to go into the specifics, but basically it's humans and shape-shifting aliens. They're trying to live together on Earth, and it's not really working. It gets to this point where there is a revolutionist group inside the aliens that are trying to, like, they get tired of being shapeshifted into being humans. They want to come out. They want to take over the world and to make it theirs because they're tired of hiding, which I could go on that. That's a whole different thing. We're not going to talk about that tonight. The end of the episode gets to a point where so there's Kate Lethbridge Stewart. She's like representing humanity. She's the leader of like the unified task force protecting Earth. And then there's Zygella, who is the obvious, like that's not a human name. That's the alien revolutionist. So they're standing with their hands over two buttons. They both have a box with two buttons on it. One button dooms their people. One button dooms the other. They do not know which is which, and they're both standing with their hand over the box, going, or like, who's gonna go first? Tensions are high, and the Doctor's trying to explain what it feels like to be responsible for so much destruction and death because he's experienced that himself. Which, long story short, there was a big war, and he was responsible for wiping out both his own people and the enemy. So they're going through all of this, and he's trying to get them to understand, but they're not listening. And it gets to the point where he just brings them to where they're willing to listen, but the alien revolutionist Zygella, she's the one that's like, well, I can't step down now because they won't forgive me. They won't forgive me, and so I got to do this. We need to start this war. She doesn't even know why. She doesn't even know what she wants whenever she gets through with it. And the Doctor says this, and I had to write down the exact quote earlier because it was just so impactful. So knowing that the Doctor has been through so much death, destruction, and all this stuff, he says, "You call this a war? This funny little thing? I fought in the biggest war the universe has ever known. I did worse things than you can ever imagine, and when I close my eyes, I can hear more screams than I could ever begin to count. And do you know what I do with all that pain? I'll tell you where you put it. You hold it tight till it burns in your hand, and you say this: no one else will ever have to live like this. No one else will ever have to feel this pain. Not on my watch." And so alien lady asks the Doctor, like, after, there's a silence, the human, like, Kate immediately just closes the box and just says, "I'm sorry." But the other lady, Zygella, goes, "The boxes are empty, aren't they? They're just buttons." And he goes, "You know why you know that? It's because you're starting to think like me. It's hell, isn't it? But we're not going to let anyone else do that. Not on our watch." What I've been learning or being reminded of in the past year is that the Lord is showing me how important it is that our pain is not wasted. Without our faith with Jesus, it just sucks. And we've been through this, and it hurts. And maybe we can come up. We can redeem ourselves a little bit by trying to help others, to pay our own penance, or make it to where things are good enough again. But let's be honest, the thing is black, and there's no way to get it back, not on our own. But we stand with a God who, in the words of Paul, says that in our weaknesses, Christ's love is made perfect. In our pains, in our hurts, in our traumas, we can go, I've been redeemed, let me show you how. That is the gospel. And the reason why I only started watching Doctor Who because a friend showed me in college is because that is who he is. That's what he does, no matter who is the doctor, no matter who the companion is, no matter who the situation is because as you get to learn about him more, he went from so much pain and struggle and suffering and death, and he's determined to save as many lives as he can, because that won't happen to them, not on my watch. We get to use our pain and create something beautiful and bring healing to others because of it. Yeah. That is what Jesus offers us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like we needed some worship pads underneath you. I was just missing the pads.
Sorry, maybe I can find something.
All right, now we're opening up to you all. Ryan or Erica, do you want to go first? Share redeem?
Kind of a letdown after that.
No, I know, right?
You should watch Doctor Who. It's a really good show.
I'm sensing that. So, Doc Brown redeem. So past Doc helps Marty get home, and present Doc then uses the time machine to help Marty save his son in the second episode. So
good.
They're really good movies.
I'll wrap up two things with Alfred, and I couldn't decide which way to go, so I'm going to shortly do both.
Please do.
One is iron sharpens iron. The fact that Alfred's there with Bruce, and that it's kind of like, as much as Bruce can push and shove, Alfred is not afraid to push and shove back. We have this conversation about Samwise and Frodo.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very much a similar relationship between Alfred and Batman.
Got to do this on my own. Yeah, and I'm coming with you.
Exactly. And the second thing is Alfred maybe as a shadow of the Holy Spirit. There's a prayer in the Eastern Church that says that calls the Holy Spirit out of Scripture. It says, "The Comforter, the Counselor, who is everywhere present, fills all things, the treasury of blessings." And particularly in Justice League 2017, the fact that Alfred starts to pull the team together. He talks to Diana. He talks to Bruce. He has these moments where he's trying to get everybody else to recognize who they are. And even when they're on the other side of the world, he's there in the comms. He's speaking to them. He's already prepared them with everything they need to take on this battle. And he's like, "You've got this. Now go do it."
That sounds familiar.
So.
Woo.
Nice.
There we go.
All right. Somebody want to redeem a character?
Come on, Wyatt.
Yeah.
There we go. It's like, you got the note cards. You got to go.
You came too prepared not to give your spiel.
All right, first of all, Connor, beware of Dr. Downey Doom.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I heard.
Anyways, for my redeem, I have Batman again, which actually ties in with Bishop Mackey's previous one. In the comic Batman the White Knight, which is where I sourced all of this, Alfred dies in the final chapters. Bruce finally processes this and hangs up the suit after the main villain is vanquished, after realizing that he now has to be the dad to Nightwing and Batgirl.
Wow.
He finally hangs it up after realizing how much Alfred did for him, Nightwing, Batgirl, all of that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That was beautiful.
Very nice.
Did not know that.
Okay. Anyone else?
Who else?
Yes.
Do it.
Yeah.
Let's go, Dad.
Let's get another Gibson on this podcast.
I think I'm going to stand because I'm afraid for the chair. So my question is, this is going to maybe a little latitude. This is not a sci-fi. It's a hero, anti-hero.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Can I
Bring
go
it.
with it?
We will not.
Okay.
We will not
So
say
I'm
no.
gonna redeem Jason Bourne.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Okay. So if you don't know a little bit of the Jason Bourne story, he's a trained CIA killer, assassin, right? And he assassinates dozens of leaders, really traumatic events. Ultimately, he experiences some kind of psychotic event, trauma, and he experiences amnesia, and he doesn't even remember who he is and what his purpose is. And he's trying to put all the pieces back together again. He comes across the companion in the first movie, Marie, who ultimately then becomes his girlfriend. And she's more positive and hopeful and kind of redemptive. And there's a scene in the middle of the movie, the first movie, where the CIA is coming after him because they want to kill him because they're afraid of him because they don't know what he's going to do. And in response, he's going to go after a guy, and she kind of tells him, no, do the right thing. And his response is, nobody does the right thing. So that's in the first movie. Second movie, beginning, the CIA is still after him. They send an assassin after him. He kills his girlfriend by mistake when he's trying to kill Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne decides, I'm going to take the fight to your doorstep, and he's basically going to burn the whole thing down. So he starts that process. Ultimately, at the end of that movie, he gets the director of Treadstone, the one who's been pursuing him, causing all the deaths in the first place, traps him in a hotel room. The guy knows his career's over, his life is over. He basically says, why don't you go ahead and kill me because my life's over. And he says, I'm not going to do it. The guy looks at him like, why not? And he goes, she wouldn't want me to.
That's
so it was
good.
Marie, right? So finally this character is showing a redemptive value in his life, and he's starting to move in a different direction. For me, that's kind of somebody who's hopeless and broken, right? They're never fully hopeless, right?
Yeah.
There's always a redemptive process or possibility there. And then Marie is, in a sense, the Christ-like character, right? Because she's pointing into a different direction. And so he, in a sense, starts to choose a different direction. And ultimately, through a whole series of movies, he experiences redemption because he chooses to follow what she's doing. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good.
Preach it, Pastor. Preach it, Pastor.
Anybody else? Come on, Mabel.
Yeah, Mabel.
So I'm going to rejoice Hawkeye in all of the father figures that are shown there, because when I'm also gonna dig on Hawkeye real quick. He leaves his basically leaves his family to go help this girl that he barely even knows, and that really got to me because it talks about how God will leave the 99 sheep to look after the one, and how his family understands about it. So
that's so good, Mabel. That's so good.
I think that'll preach.
I think that'll preach.
Another one?
Another one.
DJ Khaled. I think that's it. We were going to open up for Q&A. Does anybody have any questions you want to ask either one or all of us here up here at the desk?
Because if not, we can just cut this
question.
question.
You just want to
Bring
shout
it.
out from where you're at?
How did all of you meet?
Oh.
That's decent.
That's good.
That's easy.
I can be real quick with how I first met Kim. She showed up to record for our podcast.
I guess, yeah. Well, we met in. Did we actually? We had 1 year together in college.
We had 2.
We had 2 years together in college. I don't know. They all blended together. It's like a whole thing. And then I entered under Connor, but that wasn't the first bit.
Yeah, you had served in our ministry for a little while.
I got hired on as the youth worship director, I think, first.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And then at Countryside. And then I was his intern. And then here I am. Not as an intern anymore.
That's right.
Still his intern.
You've gone up in the life.
But yeah.
No, yeah. The podcast started with Jake Jordan and I. Mm-hmm. And so Jordan stepped off the podcast a month or two ago. So we started together. We're 3 buds. And I met Jordan through internship at our church. And then I met Jake through Jordan.
Because Jordan was like, hey, you're cool. This guy's cool. You guys should hang out.
I think he said, either you two will love each other or you'll hate each other.
Yeah, and it's pretty certain that I hate you.
It's probably a little bit of both.
Best days, it's both.
Keep things Keeps things spicy. And then obviously I met Priscilla through Jake. So, and now we're great friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we brought Priscilla and Kim on the podcast, 4 months ago? Permanently. You've both been guests a couple times.
I think that call was like,
and we were like,
and late summer probably.
Yeah.
You know,
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Then I also
Great
met
question.
Priscilla at college. I didn't mention that. She showed up to join our chapel band, which I was mad at because she took a friend of mine's position on our chapel team. And I was,
It was
very
a time.
angry with her. And then we just got to know each other, and there's a very long dating story, but bada bing, bada boom, we got married, and 3 years later, here we are.
Awesome. Any other questions for us? You can ask the hard stuff too.
Of your 50 episodes, what movie surprised you the most?
Ooh, I have to look through our episodes. Hold on.
The first one that came to my mind was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, that was so good.
It's
Not
really
a
good one,
family-friendly
and
movie, though.
It's it's definitely a vibe. It's a
vibe. Oh,
Watch
man.
with discretion. I think that was our first. Was that because we had Zach Fleming on for the pod? That was his idea, and I was like, okay. And he's like, it's a rated R movie though, and you haven't done one of those yet. And I was like, well, pop culture redemption. Let's get after it.
Let's figure it out.
Let's walk into it. And it was. There you go. The
Yeah,
R is
there
for
we go.
redemption. That's right.
That's good.
And we did. There's a lot of redemptive things in it. So, and I really liked that movie.
It was good.
I think it's really hard to surprise me. I don't like. I'm a probation officer. Nothing surprises me, so I'm having a hard time finding one. But yeah.
I've honestly found a little surprise in all of them. I think that's kind of the whole point of doing something like this is you're intentionally watching movies for almost a completely different reason. So I'm usually like, oh, had I not been coming in with that mindset, I might have missed that. So it's learning for me every single movie.
Oh, actually, duh. This I just needed you to talk, and then it just made me think.
She wasn't listening to you. That's what Kim's saying.
No, we were actually talking on the way here, and I was like telling her my rejoice from this episode, and she was like, "Oh, that's really cool that you like just found this out about yourself. Why Wonder Woman's your favorite hero?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I was so surprised that I didn't know. Like, I legitimately was just like, "She's cool." And I like her, and she has brown hair, and she's my favorite. And I'm like, and then it's her character, like who she is why I really like her, and I feel like I see myself in her. So that was, I could say, shocking.
Yeah.
A shocking discovery.
So I just had to look through our episodes and nothing was coming to mind. But I will say, I have been surprised by what has happened because of the process. Because I wasn't raised in a home that was like, you can't watch Harry Potter because that's witchcraft. Like, I wasn't raised with that. But I think in my head, I had a line drawn where I can't, like, and I think this is a common story. There's nothing to spiritually learn from movies because it's just movies. That there's movies, there's other life, and then there's church. And just through this process, I mean, I'll admit it, like, I've been in ministry for the last like close to 8 or 9 years at this point, and there are many days where it's hard to see where God is working in my life. There's days where I can wake up, and seasons in my life where I can go through and just go, where are you? But by looking for God in pop culture, be it through movies, through books, through TV shows, through anything, man, I just started to see that God is everywhere, and that, like, man, because the belief we stand on here is that if God created the world and God is truth, the gospel is truth, then whether or not people realize it, they will share his message because we are made in his image. And just in the practice of looking for it, you start to see God everywhere, whether it's on the screen or off, whether it's in front, whether it's on the page or it's just in your walk to work. That's been the biggest surprise.
Yeah, well, as you're sharing, I thought about, too, like James 1 talks about every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of heavenly lights, who does not change, like shifting shadows.
And I'm the most shocked that he's a Bible encyclopedia.
So,
Every
good
single
job,
episode,
Mr. Gibson.
He's just out of the abyss, just scripture. It's so great.
Maybe one more. Do we have one more question?
About anything.
I got a question.
Oh, here we go.
So I sense a little tension sometimes between Connor and Jacob in terms of
What?
your perspective on
Oh.
characters or movies.
Yeah.
So which superhero do you have the most conflict over? And can you give us?
I don't think it's a superhero. I think it's a specific movie, and I think it's Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
I know. I'm kind of uncomfy now.
Because my personal opinion is it's Star Wars. I'm gonna like it because it's Star Wars. Somebody likes to point out all the plot holes and the things he disagrees with.
Okay, just for context, we were eating like before this, and they were doing this. So this is like
Just for context, this happens in our home every single time they come over.
Hold on. Here's the full context. A couple days ago, we got into it about Star Wars: Last Jedi because we just finished watching Skeleton Crew, which was so good.
It was good.
And we got into talking about. We got into talking about Star Wars: Last Jedi. I kind of got into it. It's just dumb. And then I show up here, and we're about to start like bringing things inside, and he's like, "I have a gift for you." And he opens his door and hands me a copy of the book of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and he's like, "Here, what did you say? Like this is
peace offering.
Yeah, here's a peace offering.
I brought a peace offering. I'm sorry I yelled at you.
No, in all honesty, though, with all the plot holes in the movie, I enjoy seeing the humanity. Of like, okay, because people's biggest problem with that movie is Finn and Rose go on this big adventure and it doesn't do anything. How often do we do that in our own dang lives?
It's not, I would like to represent my opinion.
Okay, that's fine, but
Thank
you're
you.
wrong.
That's your opinion. That's like your opinion, man. My issue with The Last Jedi is not the Rose and what's the Finn side quest. It's what they did to the character of Luke Skywalker, because the central tenet of Luke Skywalker in 4, 5, and 6 is that he believes with absolute certainty that his father is good, even though everything of all proof would be that his father is the most evil person in the entire galaxy as Darth Vader, and he refuses to confront his father because he believes there's an ounce of truth in him, and so therefore he will not kill him, he will not fight his father. And that is the redemption that leads to his... That's the thing that leads to his father's redemption. And then in 8, they show a thing where it's just a snippet where he has a dream that his nephew is going to like become a murderer
To be
or
fair,
something
there was
like
probably
that.
more
And
going on in the background.
And he decides that, okay, I'm going to kill my nephew in his sleep because I had a dream that maybe my nephew might be a little bit bad.
Fair.
And I'm like... That doesn't jive with the character of Luke and 4. So there you go. There's my nerd out.
Just go read
I
the book.
apologize if I ruined the movie for you, and if you disagree with me, that's totally fine.
Just go read the books.
There it is. There's my rage session. Thank you.
Oh my god.
My name is Connor, and I approve this message.
Can we have a redeeming question maybe after that? After causing some animosity?
One more question at least.
But the best part of a movie is sometimes it ends in tension.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There you go.
There we go.
But people like Infinity War because it leads to Endgame.
It's true. Resolution.
Why?
Tension
You got a
resolution.
question?
Yeah. So, okay, how am I going to say this? Like, are some of you like older, middle, and younger children? Because I think David's the youngest.
That's a good...
Yeah.
I'm a youngest.
Yes, you're a youngest child.
I'm the oldest.
I'm the oldest.
You want to guess?
Am I seriously?
No. Oldest.
I'm the only young... man...
It explains a lot,
I think it
right?
shows. Oh, wait, another question. Yes.
That's good. Does anyone here not actually like? Did they not like one of the movies or shows or whatever?
Yes.
The Little Mermaid.
No.
The live-action Little Mermaid.
not
I
get
did
me
not like that
started.
movie.
Oh,
I had
what's the
many
one that I can never
problems.
remember the
Poe,
name?
what is
The
that one?
Everything, Everywhere,
Yeah,
All
I
at
did not
Once.
like that
No,
one.
the one with Poe.
I wasn't even on the podcast yet,
Kung
and I
Fu
did not
Panda.
like watching that one.
Kim does not like
Kung Fu
She's-
Panda 4 or whatever. Get out of here. Stop making them. I'm sick. I'm so sick of it. Okay, it's the same story every time, and I can't. Just because he jumps on his belly doesn't mean it's funny. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I love the first one. Can we knock it off? I was like, y'all are really going to make me watch this. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
We did a Hallmark Christmas episode with
Oh,
Lizzie.
yeah, that's
right
very
there back
true.
there that was really good. You should check that episode out if you haven't heard it. I don't remember the movie that I watched. I didn't think it was bad.
It was a
love
Hallmark movie. You watched one,
It
you
is what
watched
it
them all.
was. So there you
You
go.
liked Kung Fu Panda 4? There we go.
It was a
Point
vibe.
proven.
It was a vibe.
It was a vibe. That's all I could
It
say.
was the worst vibe ever.
All right, I think that's a good spot. That's a good spot to end. Thank you all. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thanks for doing this. We really appreciate it. And if you know the sign off, you can say it with me. Until next time, remember, God is at work, even in pop culture. All right. I don't know what camera I'm looking at.
Wait. Should everybody
See you
look at
next
the GoPro?
There we go. Look
In
at
the
the
back?
GoPro back
Everybody
there
just
and
kinda
say goodbye.
Wave. Goodbye.
Perfect.
Well, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in with our show today. If you were able to come to our live show in person, we are so thankful for you. We had a great time filming and recording this and just going through this process together. As we wrap up today, first, I just wanted to preview real quick. We actually redesigned our studio space, and we have a new recording space that's going to show up next week on next week's podcast, and it's kind of here behind me. I wanted to give you a little sneak peek. We're really excited about this space so we can record in. And then the second thing is we have executive producers that support Pop Culture Redemption financially. And so if it's something that you're interested in doing, we have $5, $10, and $25 tiers on our Patreon, where you can become an executive producer, get some different perks as far as your connection with the show, and some free items that come with being a part of that. But also you just get to know that you are supporting this show. You're helping us get the message out that God is indeed at work in pop culture, and you're helping other believers be able to further engage with God in culture, and therefore further engage with God in the world. Because we know that God is at work in pop culture. We affirm that, and we believe that, and we want to partner with God in the ways that He is calling us to go into the world, to be His hands and feet, to be His representatives, to be Christ's ambassadors in the world. And so if you would like to partner with us in helping us do that, become an executive producer today, you can use the link to our Patreon below. Again, thanks for tuning in today. Until next time, remember, God is indeed at work in pop culture.